Hey y'all, it's Tyler from O.T.R.Outdoors. We're gonna do an overnighter tonight with the snowstorm coming in. Right now it's about 37, but I gotta go scout out my spot for tonight. I'm gonna stay at the house and help get the girls down for bed and everything, and then come back out, set up camp. I may use the same spot I used last overnighter. I'm not sure. I got another spot that I've been wanting to camp at that I'm gonna go check out now. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go scout around, find a spot for tonight, and then once we get our spot picked out, I may come set up everything now, or I may wait for the girls to be down and then come back and set it up after that. All right, y'all, so we're headed back out. Riley's with me. We had our first little bit of snow flurries about 10 minutes ago. It's supposed to start snowing at 5, and they have updated the accumulation just tonight, 8 to 12 inches, and then another 3 to 5 over the course of tomorrow. So I'm gonna come out here. Riley's gonna help me finish getting camp somewhat set up, and we're gonna get the tarp up so that I'm not clearing snow off of where I'm sleeping tonight once I get back out here, because it'll probably be after dark. Sorry y'all, so I've been out a while ago. I didn't take my phone with me. I had it plugged in so it charged a little more on the GoPro charge to be full for the night. All I've done is straighten up the shelter the rest of the way. I went back, ended up going back to my original camp because there was some tree roots and stuff there that I didn't want to have to deal with on a short time frame. So back at the shelter we used last time, same area, we're gonna use a regular tarp for the shelter. I already have it set up and all the rest of my gear out there. So I'm gonna head out there now, get the fire going, and then we'll get the night rocking. All right, y'all. I don't know if y'all can hear it or not. It just started, the sleet's still going, picking back up in the rain. All I'm doing right now is getting everything prepped up for the fire. I'm finished getting everything straightened up for tonight. Got everything underneath the tarp, just not getting wet while this sleet rain mix is coming down. So we're gonna finish getting the fire prepped up, and then we'll get it going here in just a second. But I'll show you what I'm working with right now. All right, y'all, so here's what I'm working with. This is my small pile, my medium pile, my large pile, and I'm over here my fuels. Got everything tucked up underneath the edge of the, sorry for the bounce, y'all. Got everything tucked up underneath the tarp right now, so it's not getting rained on. You can hear it starting to pick up a bit. There's some sleet that just hit me. See, right now you can tell it's still a mix of rain and sleet, but it's starting to turn more into sleet. So, just got a pole here with the Y, keeping this front end up, so that I'm got plenty of room to work on here, and then everything's on the rack where it's nice and dry. So we're gonna get the fire going and move on from there. Alright, also I've got 3 good sized feather sticks for these small pieces, and then I've got this one piece here. I got my saw and my multi-tool out. I'm going to scrape some of these off with these small shavings here. These will be your scrapings. This saw has a really good 90-degree, super hard 90. Hopefully y'all can see this fairly well. What I've got here is just a dry leaf. It's underneath the tarp. I'm going to take these scrapings and real small shavings, put them right in the middle. That way once I light this, I can set it up here on top of this bit of wood I've got to break up, get me up off the wet ground. Get the ferro rod out here. I'm gonna use the saw on my multi-tool. It's my absolute favorite striker. I've got all my small stuff over here along with this fat one that I'm going to use. If I get it to go in the right spot. There we go. Most of this stuff's still fairly dry, even though it's been raining and sleeting because I had pulled it up underneath the tarp. These back in my pocket so I don't lose them. There's a big handful of this small stuff. And the medium stuff. Let it do its thing. We got a little break in the sleet here. Rain, hopefully it'll switch over to snow here shortly. Let's see what he's saying. Let's refresh everything. 34, low's 28. Still on the radar, snow tonight. Let's see here. Currently feels like 28. 7-mile-an-hour wind. The north-northeast, so we're set up good for the smoke not being in there. So starting in 45 minutes, we jump to 95% chance. Hopefully you can see that, and then 100 from there. All right, y'all, quick update. It is a little after 9, if I remember correctly. Let's see here. 10:30. Sorry, it's been a little while. This sleet snow mix just started about 20-30 minutes ago, about 20 minutes ago. But it's actually starting to accumulate some. It had stopped just about everything for probably the last hour. I guess the storm system kind of stalled, and it bracketed us a little bit on both sides of us. But fire's going. Coffee just finished up, cooling off there, so I can have some coffee and get dinner started. I'm going to stay up till it definitely starts snowing good, which is supposed to be about 11:30, midnight or so. So by the time I get dinner cooked and ready to eat, we'll be good. Alright, y'all, potatoes are on. So let those potatoes cook for a little while. Once they hit a boil, I'll throw the pork on. It's a fairly thin piece that I cut off in a larger piece, so it shouldn't take very long to cook in the pan either. So once those get to a good boil, or start to boil, I'll get it started and they should be finished together, and we'll have some mashed potatoes and pork loin. Quick update. There's coffee. I want to show y'all what I got going on with the firewood. So I've got a good stack here of stuff that's cut somewhat to length for the rest of the night, and then I've got everything else stacked up on the sides where they're not gonna, I don't know if you can see those over there. There's 2 big ones over there and then 4 or 5 over here. I've got them set up that way so they're not gonna collect a bunch of snow and sleet off the ground. Alright, y'all, so I stoked the fire a bit here. Potatoes were boiling. I had to move them off to make room for my pan. Potatoes were at a nice boil just a second ago, so they should get back up there pretty quick. We'll get everything out for the pork. I also got my little fry pan here. This is just stamped steel, and I've had it for years, but I've got it where it's not much sticks in it, but I always add a little bit of oil before I cook in it. So this is just pure olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil from Italy, where we were stationed at previously. Let that warm up for just a second so it'll coat that pan good. What we got here? Just cut off one end of the pork tenderloin. This is one of the pre-seasoned one. It's garlic and black pepper. We got some sleet falling in with our oil here. Smells delicious. That didn't take long. I'm gonna drop this guy in there. Oh yeah. Get him cooking. Alright, also like I was saying, the potatoes. Oh, looks like the potatoes are boiling over here. Scoop them out of the way a little bit. And our pork one in there. I have to move some of these cold, that's a little warm. That'll be nice and good here in just a bit. So I'll let this get going. I got a fire still going in the back, so I gotta just throw some more wood on there once I get done cooking. I'll get a nice hot fire going again, and ready to wait on the sleet to finish up and the snow start falling. If only y'all could smell how good that is. Alright y'all, so there's the pork chops over there. I went ahead and split it, or the pork one, I went ahead and split it so get the inside good and cooked. There's my potatoes all mashed, some butter and house seasoning on it. Let's dig into these while that pork finishes up. Dinner is ready. Got another pot of coffee going. This will be the last one for the night. It's starting to snow a bit. Pick that up a little bit. I can't see anything, but you can see the snow coming down. And it's coming in waves. Trying to get it where y'all can see, but it's literally. Let's see if that helps y'all any. Like if the wind picks up any, it'll be close to blizzard conditions. Not quite, but it'll be close when the wind picks up a little bit more. They were saying we had a chance of a blizzard watch if the winds actually picked up like they're supposed to. Because it's thick. Big flakes, small flakes, a little bit of everything. Get over here, you can see the trees. It's definitely finally here. I knocked this thing off probably 7 or 8 times now. As you can tell by the mound here. Finally starting to get going good. Morning, y'all. It is snowing still. Before I went to bed last night, it had switched over to mostly sleet, and we're now back to mostly snow, it looks like. The fire, I doubt there's anything left over there. I put 3 really good pieces on it right before I went to bed last night, but we'll see. And the wind has picked up quite a bit. So, it's blowing right in my face right now too. Whew. I really don't want to get out of my sleeping bag. It's nice and warm. I'm gonna say we have at least
3 inches, probably 4, closer to 4. And it's supposed to keep snowing until 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's only 4, or it's 7. It's, yeah, till 3, and it's 7 right now. So we're supposed to get an additional 3 to 5 inches today. But that was last night. I haven't looked at it since I got up. So I'm gonna get up, get a quick fire going, straighten up a little bit, and then head to the house. So play in the snow with the girls. It'll be fun. There you go. So there is all the stuff that's piled up off the tarp as I knocked it off throughout the night. I put this little snow wall up about midnight last night because it was, wind was blowing the wind right on top of my sleeping bag, so I just kind of built a little bunker, and I took my sit pad right there and propped it up to help keep some of the snow off everything. Walk around here, give you all a full view. Say minus the hour and a half of heavy sleet, it was a good night. And even with that, it wasn't bad. It's just not snow, which is the fun part. All right, I'm gonna get a real quick fire going. Just keep my hands and feet warm while I get everything cleaned up. Make a cup of coffee real quick. I'll show you all this here in just a second. I'm gonna turn around. I left all my, everything that I cooked with last night, I left out so we collect snow. So when I get my fire going this morning, I can stick them on the fire, melts it all, so I got hot water that's gonna clean them all out real good before I throw them back in the bag. But I wanna show you what it looks like where they're all at. They're all pretty much at least halfway, minus the big water bottle that I used to get water out of the creek last night. I did set the fire reflector on fire, catch it on fire last night late. I was still up when it happened. I was drinking coffee, but it finally went enough to catch on fire. It was smoking and steaming, so ran down the creek, grabbed a couple water bottles full of water, and threw it on there. I got it out with the snow, and then before I went to bed, made sure I put some more water on it. So there's that, my main little pot that I make coffee with, and it's halfway, so it's at least 3 inches. I'm gonna show you something real quick before I get the fire going. Last night I saved half of all my small stuff, tucked it up underneath here so it'd stay dry. So that's what we're gonna use to get our fire started. It's really coming down now. When I got up earlier with the wind chill, it was 17, 18 degrees. So it's about 20, I think you said it was 26, 27 actual temperature. I slept great. It is definitely got some good snow coming down now. All right, y'all, so this is what I decided to do. I got the fire stoked up, get my hands and feet warmed up after I got dressed. Because I have so little battery left, I actually went back to the house last night and plugged in the GoPro, and my phone is about 10% now. So what I'm gonna do is head up to the house, eat breakfast with the family, and then here in about an hour or two, about 2.5, 3 hours, it's supposed to slow down some. And if not, by 3 for sure, it's gonna completely stop snowing. So we'll come back sometime this afternoon, get everything cleaned up. That way y'all can see how I set this up and changes that I would make to my setup. One being this tarp. I will not be using this tarp if I know it's going to be raining. Keep wind off me, or give me shade, sure, great. I will not be using this tarpaulin. So, might be on the lookout for a new tarp. I've got another one that I do like. It's a bit bigger, it's lighter, and it is a bit bigger, but it's not a complete square. It's a European tarp, so it's in centimeters, and it's not quite 9 by 9. It's a little off, and then it's not 9 and 9. I'll have to look at the dimensions again. It's not completely square, and I prefer a square tarp, but it's close enough that it'll work, and it offers me a few more options because it's got a tie-out point in the center of the tarp.
So we'll get it out and start playing with it. I've used it in other videos before too. But tarp will be number one. I will not be using this tarp again. And the big reason is because this is a poncho tarp. And with the military poncho tarp, you don't have this problem. But because this is an envelope that tucks everything back into it, this seam kept dripping last night. Which I brought my bivy sack because I knew everything's gonna be wet and cold. So I brought it with me. So I never got wet. My wool blanket that I use on top of my bivy to keep it from getting holes in it was definitely wet from that seam. But that's the way it goes. That's why you always prepare. That's why I brought the bivy, so I knew my bags weren't going to get wet or anything like that, and I wasn't going to get wet sleeping. And it's starting to really come down again now. It's awesome. And we'll come back and I'll show you everything I did. Things I liked that I set up certain ways, things I didn't like, things I'm going to change as far as configuration of the camp, things like that. Enjoyed the day in the snow. It's gonna be good, and our snow is gonna hang out for at least 3 days. We don't get above freezing until Tuesday, so it will be here. And if it keeps this up, I think we'll have at least 8 inches, if not 10. They're calling for another 3 to 5, and we already had about 3.5 when I woke up. So anywhere between 8 and 10 is what we should have by the end of the day. So I'm gonna get up to the house, eat with the family, and we'll be back out in a little bit. Hey, y'all, it's Tyler and
Riley.
We are back. This is the following day after sleeping overnight. Went home, hung out with the kids, played yesterday. So I didn't get a whole lot of footage yesterday after I stayed because there's a lot of wind and snow all day yesterday. So this is Sunday morning. I stayed out Friday night and Saturday morning. So we're gonna go get everything cleaned up. We're losing a little bit of light. It's a little windy, but I was having problems keeping everything dry with the snow yesterday, trying to get everything filmed in the morning, so I just gave up for that and then knew today would be a lot better. Still windy, but no snow falling, so my cameras aren't going to get soaking wet. The GoPro's fine, but my phone that I use a lot for the close-up stuff was getting pretty soaked. My case is semi-waterproof, but not completely. So we're going to go get a fire going, help keep us a little warm, get everything packed up, maybe have a cup of coffee real quick, and Dad, don't you do that, you little stinker. We're going to go talk about a few things that I would change. She's gonna throw another snowball on me. A few things I would do different as far as my shelter, the setup that I used on the tarp, and things like that. So we're gonna grab a little bit of firewood on the way and head out there. Ah, another snowball. All right. Quick tip. If it's been snowing but windy, once the snow stops and it's been windy. She's throwing snowballs at me still. Anything that's up off the ground, like this stuff, that's out of the snow, snow's not going to hold as much moisture as if it had been raining. But this stuff that's up off the ground, and especially this stuff that's up in the air, this whole piece right here, minus this bottom section that's in the snow, and even it will burn. You just don't want to use it for your initial stuff. And this looks like a piece of sassafras based on the bark there. So we're going to take this, and this should be just enough. This should be plenty big enough for this should be plenty big enough to get our fire started with small stuff and medium stuff, because I've got some more stuff picked up yesterday that I ended up not using, and some stuff left over that I didn't burn throughout the night. So we'll get this back to camp, get the fire going, get everything packed up, and chat a little bit. So I'll give you all a view. When I was out here, I had that stick propped up there, so I had a little more working space underneath when I was still up, and once I went to bed I went ahead and pulled that down. Walk around here in the back to show y'all how much of the snow buildup there was. Quite a bit of snow buildup. Hard to tell from that angle. There you go, and there's still some on it. All I did was cover everything up real good last night, or yesterday morning when I left. I just covered everything back up real good. Like I was saying, the only thing I would change is I would make that angle a little bit higher, for sure, on the back. Raise that up some more. Like I said, I was kind of limited with where the bed is in proximity to the trees. Let's start and get everything packed up real quick, and then head to the house. Throw snow, just don't lean on it. Alright, so one thing I did do, which y'all can see now, is I put the same space blanket we used last time, the same emergency space blanket we used for the last overnighter. I took it and laid it on top of the leaves because I knew these leaves were somewhat damp. We had rain 2 days before the snowstorm. So I went ahead and put it down as a ground barrier, vapor barrier, ground tarp, whatever you want to call it, to keep everything else dry, along with the fact that I'm up off the ground already from the leaves. That keeps me dry from the water on it, and then I have my regular inflatable mat on top of that. And I was toasty warm, like I said previously, when I was getting everything set up. I have the same Green Patrol bag, the bivy sack, and then I have a Swiss Gear medium weight bag that I've had for years, that if I recall is rated about 25, I think. So between the three of those and then the little blanket on top, I mean, I was plenty warm. No problems at all. With the wind chill, I think it got down to 18, somewhere around there. Earlier today, it's a bit cooler today. Earlier today, it was, this morning it was 1 degree with the wind chill this morning. So it's definitely cooler this morning than it was the other morning. Still had a great time. Awesome trip. Loved being able to do it in the snow. Wake up, everything's just covered with snow. Inches of snow when I woke up. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So we're gonna finish getting packed up, and I'll bring you back when we're done. All right, y'all. So I got everything put away except for the tarp and the emergency blanket. I left it there. I'm gonna leave the tarp and the emergency blanket set up because it's supposed to be. We're not losing the snow till Tuesday. So over tomorrow and Tuesday morning, because we're not gonna lose the snow till Tuesday afternoon sometime. That way we have a place to come sit out of the snow. We can get a little fire going right here where I got one going now. So this tarp keeps the wind off of us. Emergency space blankets give us something just dry to sit on. I'm gonna leave these two set up for another, at least till Tuesday sometime, and then come get them then. But everything else is put away. All the rest of the camp's cleaned up. So remember, there's always a storm coming. Keep your powder dry, your action knife sharp, and iron your back trail. We'll see y'all next time.